I believe in them. But, you know,
Barrett, I got to say kudos. That was an awesome breakdown of the NFC East.
Can't break it down. Can't break it down any better than that.
Take a bow, dude. That was impressive. I'm serious, man. No. Welcome back, everybody. We are Sports Take. Hope you're doing great on this Friday. Hope you have a good weekend in front of you. Hope you have good, interesting plans. That's for sure. Rob Ellis, Derek Gunn, along with Barrett Brooks. And so we were in the midst of going through our divisions. We did the AFC yesterday. We've done thus far the first three divisions in the NFC, including the North, South, and West. We're at the East right now. So I'll just pick back up. I think it's going to be close between the Eagles and the Cowboys. Cowboys are still a very talented team. And, you know, there's a couple of separators here for me. And I think this more applies to the playoffs. I think Mike McCarthy really bites you in the rear end in the playoffs more than he may in the regular season. And Dak, certainly the question's out in terms of a big game and what Zeke's got left in the tank, losing Amari Cooper. I think the Cowboys and the offensive line as well took some blows, certainly with the on the offensive side. Still have playmakers on defense, including, you know, Micah Parsons, who's arguably the biggest wrecking crew maybe in football at this point, which is crazy to say, only his second year. I think Dallas is really good. I think the Eagles are a team that made some massive strides in the offseason, making themselves better. There's no question about that. I like the fact that you have a second-year coach now, second-year coordinators, the second year of the quarterback starting full-time, I think makes a big difference for them. You're giving them good options, and I think they have a lot of talent on defense. I think the Eagles are a talented team. I'm going to go toss-up. I'm going to give a slight lean to the Cowboys since they're the champs, but the Eagles very easily could take them. Then I go Washington, who I think is in the Detroit, in the Minnesota, New Orleans territory, danger zone. Could be really good if things play out right. And then I don't like the Giants right now. I don't like them with Daniel Jones. I think eventually Brian Dable gets them respectable and good, but they don't have enough right now. So I would go Cowboys, Eagles, and it's interchangeable for me. Could go either way, but I'll go Cowboys, Eagles, Washington, and New York.
You Barrett, Leo Barrett.
Barrett's like, you crazy?
I threw up on my mouth, man.
I know it hurts. Keeping it real hurts.
I can't believe it, man. You know, I'm just me personally being real. I just look at that offense, the offensive side of the ball, and I just don't see it. Yes, you have CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb's a hell of a player. You got Zeke. You got Tony Pollard. They're going to try to run the rock.
Michael Gallup out there. They just went and got James Washington from Pittsburgh, who didn't live up to expectations coming out of Oklahoma State. But I still sit back and I look at that offensive line. There's no longer the most dominant line in the division. I just look at Tyron Smith, too long in the tooth. He'll be hurt halfway through the season. He won't be as reliable as he used to be. He used to be a staple. He won't be as reliable as he used to be. You know, Terrence Steele played okay for him. You know, he spelled him a lot. You know, he started basically the entire season for him. But he's still starting. He's not good. Zach Martin's still a really good player. But then they got to start a rookie at left guard position. The center, he sucks also. So when you got an offensive line like that, you can't think that you're going to run the ball consistently like they used to run. That's not happening. Zeke is a little longer in tooth, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he's probably going to come back in the best shape of his life, and he's still going to be hurt. I mean, and Michael Gallup, he won't play until probably halfway through the year. You know, he's coming back from a major. He got that injury. What, the second to the last game?
It was December. It was December.
Yeah, so we're talking about he won't be halfway through the season. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, I know ACLs these days you can come back in 9 months. 9 months, 9 months, but still, that's still what, October, November before he even comes back, and will he come back as strong as he used to be? Mm-hmm. I just don't see Dak. Yes, Dak is the best quarterback in the division, but he's still not better than he's not better with the offensive line that he has. He becomes very human now with the offensive line that he has. He's not going to have all the time in the world he used to have when he's run play action and send those receivers down the field. He's going to be running for his life the majority of the time. And you become a different quarterback when you're running for your life. Those numbers aren't going to be padded numbers like they used to be. He's going to be running for his life for the most part this entire season. So I can't see them being as good. And I mean, they still got Mike McCarthy as their head coach. So, you know, to me, that's just a spur in their side, an Achilles heel tear that they can't get rid of. On the defensive side of the ball, yeah, they got some guys out there. DeMarcus Lawrence, who's long in the tooth now, hasn't been doing what he usually does. He's not as dominant as he used to be. I saw a big, what's his name? Our left tackle, big,
Mailata.
Yeah, Jordan. Big Jordan.
Yeah.
Served him the last 2 times he played against him. He served DeMarcus Lawrence. Served him. Beat him up. Van Der Esch, I don't think he has it anymore. You know, he's very blockable now. Now we get with Michael Parsons. He is no longer sneaking up on the league like he did before. They know about him. So when he's out there now, they're going to make sure that they account for him wherever he is on the field. And don't think that the offensive line have heard everything that all the trash he's been talking, and they're going to give it to him. He's talking about, he said, it's 15 sacks is the least he's going to get this year. As an offensive lineman, you take that personal. Good, bad, or you take that personal. So they're going to beat up on him a little bit. We know Diggs, Diggs had 11 INTs last year, but hell, he had over 1,000 yards thrown on him. You know what I'm saying? They had big days against him. He just guessed right sometimes, but more times than not, he guessed wrong. A DB giving up over 1,000 yards?
Oof.
You know what I'm saying? And
yeah, everybody looks at, you're right, Barry. Everybody looks at the interceptions and the returns. They don't look at what else happened because he is an all or nothing corner.
Feast or famine. That's what it is. Feast or famine.
Yep.
Then they got their strong safety. Jaron Kearse, I love him. I love the way he plays. But he's nothing but a linebacker. You get him one-on-one with Dallas Goedert, that's 6 all day and twice on Sunday. Goddard's going to have unreal numbers against Kearse. You know, Kearse is a good run stopper, but he couldn't cover himself in a paper bag. He can't cover. So when I look at this defense, they're pretty good, but I see us taking that next step in our development of being a dominant player and a dominant team in this division. So I go Eagles 1, Dallas 2. Now, after that, I have to go with Washington. Washington, you know what I'm saying, they can break everything up. Because if Carson, and that's all I got to say, if Carson is going to be whether it's going to dictate whether they're going to number 2 in the division or number 3 in the division. They could be as high as number 2 because if that defense starts ramping up, it's going to be hard to stop this team. Because if Carson goes out there and plays the way Carson plays in the beginning of the year, and he stays that way till the end of the year, they'll be a contender in the division. I already say we're going to split with them. We're going to split with them. We're going to split with Dallas. We're going to beat the Giants both times. And that's how we win the division. That's how we're going to win the division. Carson is the X factor. They have so much talent, man. They got talent on the offensive side of the ball. Not as much as you would to be a dominant offense, but they could be a very well-maintained offense. Terry McLaurin's going to get his. He'll have like 100 yards on you receiving. But then, they got Logan Thomas. Logan Thomas stays healthy. He wasn't healthy last year. If he stays healthy and we didn't play against him, he could be a big X factor and be Carson Wentz's Zach Ertz for this team. They could run the ball with Antonio Gibson. Antonio Gibson is a really talented running back. He was a former receiver at Memphis State. He can catch the ball in the backfield. They run a lot of plays in which they use that, like screens. They run angle routes and Texas routes in the middle of the field, put him one-on-one against your linebackers, and he can beat you. Then they have straight speed to get the ball outside with McKenzie. But then you get to the defensive side of the ball. We got 5 first-rounders starting. 5. You got Chase, Payne, Allen, Sweat. And people don't know, Sweat is a great, not a good, but great pass rusher. He ran a 4.3 at defensive line.
That's right.
A 4.3 at the combine.
That's right.
Then you got Jamie. I don't know what they're doing with Davis. He hasn't done anything since they drafted in the first round. So he's like the one in the possible in spades. He could possibly be good. But you know what I'm saying? Sometimes they might get cut in spades. He might be cut. You know what I'm saying? He might not be the guy that they thought he was going to be. But after that, they become, a little bit of a regular defense then, you know, because they're back in. They're okay. Kendall Fuller is pretty good. He's all right. And after that, you know what I'm saying, it's slim pickings. So their front seven is probably one of the best, if not the best in football. But then after that, you know, they become very human. So they could be that X factor, but it's all if. If Carson Wentz plays up to his, then we get to the Giants. The Giants have nothing. If they're not running the rock with Saquon Barkley, I doubt if Daniel Jones can get the ball to Kenny Golladay. They got weapons, man. You know, Kadarius Toney hasn't done anything. He didn't do anything last year. Sterling Sharp, he's a little older.
Sterling Shepard.
Sterling Sharp. Sterling Shepard hasn't, you know, done anything the past year and a half. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? I thought he was pretty good. Darius Slayton, he's an Eagle killer. He always has a great game against the Eagles. Always. You know. But you know, then after that, man, I don't see anything else after that. That offensive line, they reassured the guys on the outside. Evan Neal, the best tackle in the draft. Andrew Thomas, he was from Georgia, their first rounder from 2 years ago. He can play. I don't know these three guys on the inside. We'll see. So, but I mean, I like Leonard Williams, USC, very dominant player, can be. Dexter Lawrence, a dominant player from Clemson, he can play. But after that, you know, it's Kayvon Thibodeau. Can the young boy go out there and play? We'll see. You know, he shows a lot, but you know, he'd be going against the big guy on the left side. You know, why I keep forgetting his name?
Mailata.
He'll be going against Mailata. I'll put Mailata. I'll take my money with Mailata. I think Mailata's gonna show him a little bit, introduce him to the NFL. I believe in him. But you know,
I gotta say kudos. That was an awesome breakdown of the NFC East.
Can't break it down. Can't break it down any better than that.
Take a bow, dude. That was impressive. I'm serious, man. No. Yeah, that was awesome. Go ahead, Gunnar.
I'll start from the bottom up since you forced me to be the tiebreaker now. Giants, Dabo is going to get that team right. It's going to take a couple of years. They're not there yet. Yep. They still have to figure out the quarterback situation, and they do have a wealth of pass catchers, but if you have the QB to get them the ball, how ineffective are they going to be, first and foremost?
And I don't love their line.
I don't love them. Rob, I love what you said because I was thinking the same thing as we were breaking down the other divisions in the NFC. I think Washington is similar to New Orleans and Minnesota. If things go right, they could finish number 2 in the division, which means the Eagles or the Cowboys are going to finish third instead of second. If Carson Wentz is head on straight, Carson Wentz should be ultra motivated this season.
Yes.
Considering how the last 2 seasons of his NFL career, he has left an embarrassing and a very distasteful taste in the mouths of those who employed him and who played with him. So if Carson is a true man, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and realize this is now on you. There are a lot of people out there waiting for you to implode, that you are a bust, that your best year was 2017 and it's all downhill from here. So you're going to have to prove a lot of people wrong. So you step into a situation where you have 3 good pass catchers now, not just 1 or 2, but you have 4 good pass catchers because people keep forgetting about Cam Sims. Cam Sims is a good young wide receiver.
Yes, he is.
He's overshadowed. Yeah, he's overshadowed by a first-round pick and 2 other proven vets, one of which just got 3 years, $71 million. And Terry McLaurin is on a mission to be a Pro Bowler. He's never been a Pro Bowler now, and that's what he wants next after getting his money is to be named to the Pro Bowl. So Terry McLaurin's on a mission. I love the running back combination of Antonio Gibson and J.D. McKissick.
Yeah.
Their physical team, the offensive line, you lose Brandon Scherf, you just don't replace him like that. So they're going to have to find out who's going to replace Brandon Scherf on that offensive line. The defense, Barrett's right. The front rotation on that defensive line is a monster. I think their best linebacker is David Mayo. I like him better than I like any of their linebackers. And outside, and outside of Kendall Fuller, the secondary is just okay. You know, so I think Washington, if they stay healthy, Chase Young being back is a game changer for that defense. If he can stay healthy, he's coming off that ACL tear.
Yeah.
If he can stay healthy, he is a game changer on that defense. Which brings us to the tiebreaker now, the Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. And Barrett, you broke it down very eloquently. I agree with everything that you've said. But for me, it comes down to 2 people, the quarterbacks. And where experience is concerned, Dak Prescott just has a little bit more experience. Dak Prescott has been a good regular season quarterback and a flop in the playoffs. You know, he can't win a game in the playoffs. Jalen Hurts has a long way to go. Will 2022 be his year? It remains to be seen. So basing my opinion on, as we sit here today, I give the Cowboys a slight edge just based on the experience at their quarterback position, especially coming out of the gate. Amari Cooper is a big loss for the pass-catching crew. But Barrett, you heard me say it many times when we worked together on Quick Slants on NBC. I've always been a huge Michael Gallup fan. And Michael Gallup has always been overshadowed by somebody else since he's been with the Cowboys. Now, since they brought him back for decent money, it's his time to shine. When is he going to get on the football field? That remains to be seen with that ACL tear. But when he comes back, I love that kid they have. Was it the wide receiver, the backup, Noah? What the heck is his name? A good young receiver the Cowboys have. Can't think of his name. That kid can go up and get some balls, you know, and I love the way he plays. Let me see if I can pull him up here real quick.
I go ahead there. Keep me.
There he is, Noah Brown. Noah Brown. There he is.
Yeah. Yep.
I love this kid. James Washington is a decent receiver. These are guys that got overshadowed by Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb last year. Now it's their time to shine. Dalton Schultz, I love him as a tight end. I think he's a physical tight end.
Very good. He's
a good blocker. He's a good pass catcher.
Last year.
Yes, he did. And he got paid. They brought him back and paid him.
Yep.
So I think just based on their quarterback, which is such an iffy position, I think Dak Prescott is going to get this team over the hump in the regular season. I expect him to flop in the playoffs. So I'm going Dallas, Eagles, one game behind Dallas, Washington, then the Giants.
Okay. All right. Yeah, look, and again, you know, when I say that could go either way, it could really tip either way. They could have the same record. It's going to be close, but I definitely think Dallas took a step back and the Eagles took a step forward. You close that gap, which, you know, if you look at last year, and again, talking about different teams, I get it. But if you look at the way that both these two teams finished last year, Dallas was 3 games better. So I think that margin's closed and they toss up. So anyway, it's going to be a highly entertaining division. It really is. Another
major concern I have is what Mike McCarthy could do to that team down there in Dallas. Jonathan Gannon could do the same thing to this Eagles defense here. I applaud the Eagles defense for the moves they made to get better. I agree 100%. I think they're better on paper. Mm-hmm. Now I need to see how the coordinator is going to implement this talent that he has, this talent he didn't have last year. How is he going to utilize their assets? You know, from Hassan Reddick to Nakobe Dean. How are you going to get them involved on a regular basis to be that disruptive force we're all salivating about, talking about we expect to see from this defense, especially with those guys running free. When you got those hogs in the middle, they can hide behind. Yeah. You know, so because I have just as much uncertainty about Jonathan Gannon as I do Mike McCarthy, man, I just –
fair enough.
I just don't know.
Fair enough. I'm with you. It's not like the Eagles aren't without their own question marks, namely a quarterback too.
But guys, the reason why Dak has
when Barrett goes into this mode where he's like grabbing the scalp,
we're in trouble. We're in trouble.
Returned.
You guys aren't looking at. They only have. Was it 2/4 of that? I mean, 2/5 of that offensive line that they had last year.
Right.
I mean, two guys that were starters for him, and that's Tyron Smith and Zach Martin.
Well, Tyler Beardad started for him also last year.
But
he got hurt.
He sucks.
I don't know. Well, you study offensive line play better than I do, so I watched that kid play at Wisconsin. He was a mauler at Wisconsin.
He's a mauler in the run game.
Yeah,
but the pass game, he's a liability.
Okay,
he's a straight liability. He can't move his feet. He can move his feet. He run blocks very, very well. He comes up on run blocks very well. But then you got Terrence Steele. Terrence Steele got his lunch given to him just about every game. Yeah. Tyron Smith, he can't move anymore. So it's just hard for me to think that, that Dak is going to put up the same numbers or even close to the number he's been putting up, because he's not going to have that convenience of being able to run the ball, number one, and then go to play action pass. He is not a drop back quarterback. He is a
play action quarterback, which is kind of like I want Jalen Hurts to be. I want Jalen Hurts to come in and kind of look at the same offense, and we do the same thing with a dominant run game like we have. Instead of going out there and trying to drop back pass, use play action. When you use play action, that means guys are coming off the ball, they're being aggressive. So you'll have a natural barrier between him stepping up because those guys are being firm at the point of attack. But you also, when you do that, you make a solid protection. So now a tight end stays in and a running back stays in. I think our receivers are now good enough that you can send a two-man route out there and they could win.
Yep.
So that's why I say if you can do that, and that's exactly how Dallas did it for Dak Prescott. They were able to run that solid offense, we call it solid protection, where they showed that they were running the ball. They came off, they were aggressive, which allowed him then to have those long development routes with Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb, and it was Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup when his freshman year to develop down the field, and that's where they had most of their success. Zeke was toting the rock. I just can't see him doing that anymore. I mean, he's going to be running for his life. I promise you, he's going to be running for his life.
But as we sit here right now, there are too many gray area words to me surrounding Jalen Hurts. Hopefully,
yes.
Maybe, what if,
yep.
We think he can, we hope he can.
He should be.
He should be. There's too many words.
We all know that. That's all
right.
There's too many gray area words surrounding him now.
The bad word, intangibles.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And it's a shame. Like it is a shame because when you talk about quarterbacks, everybody he sucks. He's great. He's the answer. He's not. It's okay to be a little bit in between. I think especially in this situation with this guy. And when you go in between, that's not always great. You know.
But that's it though. I mean, how many times do we go into a season where we'll pick the average quarterback and win in the Super Bowl? You know what I'm saying? And that's what's been happening the past couple of years. The average quarterback,
excluding Brady.
Yeah, excluding Brady. You know what I'm saying? Excluding Patrick Mahomes also. But mediocre quarterbacks have been winning.
Well, how would you categorize Stafford? I would say I put him certainly above mediocre. I would say good.
Yes, he's a good quarterback. Yeah.
Not great.
He was in a bad situation his first 10 years. You know what I'm saying? He had the worst of the worst. Even though they were picking first in the draft for so long, they just now starting to get the framework of being solid. You know, they started with the offensive line. It seems when you start with the offensive line first, things tend to accelerate for you as you get better.
Well, and you're right. And to his credit, the year he gets freed, he wins it. Now, he had a lot of help, man. He had a lot.
The best receiver in the league.
Right. And a coach that's really good and a defense that's really good. It wasn't just him, but he made some clutch throws in big spots.
I know it's a controlled environment, and like I tell you guys all the time, I don't get too hyped about OTAs, mini camps, and even training camp because it's controlled. But when I asked a few people back in late May about where Jalen Hurts was in his progress, one person said, let me just give you a scenario of what he went through one day of practice. It was a 10-play scenario. He had 3 picks, 4 incompletions, and 3 sacks. That was his 10-play series. Okay.
Other than that, it was a great 10 plays.
And I followed up with, so what are you thinking? And the direct answer was, he's got a ways to go. And that's not very encouraging when you hear all this offseason news. He's worked with this quarterback guru. He's working on his mechanics. He has a second year in Nick Sirianni's playbook.
When you heard that.
Yes. This is OTAs.
I hate that you told me that, Gunner, and I didn't want to believe it. And you just said it verbatim, so that means you're not lying to me.
Yes. So you heard the same thing.
Yes, I did.
See,
yes,
okay, so you know what I'm talking about. So, and I've said this on record many times. I first and foremost want to see Jalen Hurts succeed because of all the negativism out there surrounding him right now. He sucks. You hear more that he sucks than he's the quarterback. Yep. The answer. And because of how this young man carries himself, I want to see him succeed because of that.
I do too.
But when I get the breakdown, when I get this breakdown on him, and I'm like, if he's doing this in a controlled environment, what's he going to do when he's got to make decisions in a fraction of a second?
Yeah.
Because he's not going to play much in the preseason. You can forget that.
Not at all. I mean, I'm with you. I had this internal struggle because you want this guy to succeed if he's on your team. He's that kind of human being. He's that kind of person.
Yes,
you're right. I want him to too. Yeah.
But
you see Bear start smirking. See, you see Bear start smirking because as soon as I said it,
this is a J-Lo butt.
He knows what I'm talking about. Yeah.
So
this is a big butt. This is a big butt.
This is Sir Mix-a-Lot that we're talking about.
This is
for my old school people.
A Bertha butt.
Yeah.
This is a big butt with this quarterback, man.
Well, you know
this organization is not very comfortable right now with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. But.
Now, there's a lot of time between now and training camp and the regular season, so he still has time. But as of right now, the results have been iffy on this.
And I think, the other big part of this is going to be, can he get you 9-10 wins with an easy schedule? He showed you last year.
He did it last year, yeah.
But when you get to the playoffs or you're playing the big boys, what does this look like? Yeah. That's when we're gonna. That's the proof in the pudding, as far as I'm concerned. No question about it. I'm not writing them off. I'm just saying I don't know, and that's why I can't fully commit to the Eagles yet as the division winners, Barry. And I get everything you laid out was compelling, but that's the only reason I can't quite get there.
But I'm gonna say this, and I have to start off with saying, but let me say this though: the coaching staff has just as much to do with his success.
Yes,
as Jalen Hurts.
That's fair.
Yes.
Will they come in? I mean, I wish I could sit down and just talk to him about what I think. But, it doesn't matter what I think. I'm not the coach. I don't, know what's going on in the day-to-day stuff. I mean, but I know and I've seen positive results in running the offense. Everybody thinks, Big Ben started out as Big Ben. No, Big Ben started out as Ben Roethlisberger, who's doing exactly this. He did the exact same thing that I just laid out.
Yeah,
we ran play action. We had, Jerome Bettis, and we ran play action because it's a solid protection. Gave him all the time in the world he needed to push the ball down the field. You had guys that can get open, small receivers, and Antoine, Randall L, Cedric Wilson, these little bitty receivers running around there. Then you had a guy that would keep the sticks moving with Hines Ward. I mean, that's what our offense was built on, because that was the only way that we could give him enough time to push the ball down the field that we wanted to. It wasn't a lot of drop back passes. You got to run play action. You got to run boot protection, waggle protection. Waggle protection is just like you running, is where it's run action in the front. They pull the backside guard out, and then they roll out the backside guard and the quarterback out. And he's a blocker out in front of him as he's around there, just in case somebody breaks free. And that allowed him to push the ball down the field. We ran a lot of bunch protection. Bunch formations where they were close to the offensive line just in case they wanted to blitz. One of those guys that come in and block, when they saw the blitz happening. You have to help these young guys as quarterbacks, because if you don't help a quarterback when they're young, they become gun shy.
Yeah.
Like who would you say? The other Carr, the older Carr.
Yeah, David.
David Carr got his head kicked in.
Yep. Yeah. And he was forever damaged by that.
Forever damaged. You don't want this young quarterback. You don't want Hurts being in the same position. So you're going to have to protect him from himself. You're going to have to make sure that you protect him with protections, and allow him then to use that arm, in a way in which he has time to read things a little slower than the average quarterback.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Good. That was fun doing the divisions there. Good. All right. When we come back, we're going to give you a little over under, and we're going to look at the two most difficult stretches for the Eagles this upcoming season. There's two stretches in particular that we're going to dive into when we get back. Don't go anywhere. A little later in the show, I dug up a very interesting established, I will put it that way, and as opposed to born on this day, that you guys will enjoy, that I didn't even share with you during the pre-show meeting. I got a little surprise for you. So we'll do that in addition to a couple birthdays a little bit later and some other stuff, some semifinals for the Hall of Fame. Yeah, we're going to do running backs and over-unders when we get back, and tough stretches for the defense. All kinds of stuff in store for you. Don't go anywhere. Barrett Brooks, Derek Gunn, Rob Ellis. We are Sports Take.